Welcome back to A Second Chance at Love and Marriage. We're your hosts, Shanice
and Sean.
And today, Sean is going to lead us in a conversation about
Healthy and happy. I want to bring this topic up because it seems like people think you have to make a choice. Either be healthy or be happy. They think about in lifestyle as a matter of like exercising and stuff or dieting. Healthy food don't make me happy or it's not good, so I got to make a choice. Or exercise, I don't like exercise, so I'm not going to, and we can bring that into our relationship. That same mentality that I'm going to be healthy or I'm going to be happy. But the reality is you could be healthy and happy. And I think we need to make a choice to be healthy and happy. But that do come with making sacrifices, understanding what happiness really is. It's not just a fleeting thing of today I'm happy, so I do whatever makes me feel good, even though I know tomorrow I'm not going to feel good about what I've done. So we want our relationships to be healthy and happy, and I don't want marriage to seem as if it's a death sentence of sadness. I want my marriage to be healthy, and Shanice, she makes me happy. But I know what that means to sustain that health and that happiness. I got to make choices. Just like in my exercising, it doesn't always feel good to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or to put an extra weight on there or to do this, but it makes me healthy. So in the long run, if I put health above happiness, I will be happy because I'm healthy. But if I place happiness over health, sometimes my health suffers because of that. Whether it's eating, I know a lot of people who eat a lot because it make them happy. But they're not healthy, So, but if they put health above their happiness, they would find stuff to eat that they would be happy about, but it's healthy. Yeah. So it's the perspective in your relationship, especially when we're talking about this relationship issues. Make sure you have a healthy relationship that leads to happiness.
But even going to what you said in regards to health, happy and healthy, because there are certain foods, gluten-free, dairy-free. There are rare occasions that I will go outside of that gluten-free, dairy-free to have stuff that I really, 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 really desire. Mm-hmm. But in the midst of that, I understand that it's just for that instant gratification. This is what I want. Mm-hmm. And from, according to what you said and according to life in general, period, it's like we're talking about long-term happiness.
Right.
Long-term happy and healthy. Mm-hmm. Because in the moment and eating that pizza and having that soda, that was instant, temporary gratification. But after we had it, we realized it's going to be a long time before we ever do that again.
For sure.
Because it was instant gratification. We wanted it. We hadn't had it. So we getting ready to get it. Mm-hmm. And that's just like with, specific foods. Like, I love pound cake. Not store-bought. Keep that. Mm-hmm. Homemade pound cake. But I know that it's a cost that I'm going to have to pay behind it because it's not gluten-free and it's not dairy-free. Mm-hmm. And the gluten-free, dairy-free version don't taste the same.
Right.
So if I'm gonna have that kind of drawback, then I want the full effect, and I'm gonna have to pay the price for it.
Right.
But at the same time, I know that's for me and my body. That's something that I cannot do. So I have to delay that gratification to a time where my body can really handle that.
For sure.
So I think that's what you're talking about. You're going to delay the gratification of, your happiness because you're trying to be healthy.
For sure. That's a great way to put it too. It's not saying you can't be happy, but let's not pursue a happiness that's fleeting. Yeah. We can be happy about a lot of stuff, but in the end, and sometimes we know going into it, I'm going to pay for this later. But because of that instant gratification, that feeling, that euphoria that this thing going to give us, we're willing to take that. And it may be okay in certain food issues or whatever, but in marriage, it's never okay. Yeah. You know, that's like a man or a woman saying that, man, this other person, female or male, look good and I can just be, that's instant gratification. But in the long run, that is going to be so detrimental. Even if you and your spouse work through that, it's a scar that's going to be forever there. So we have to understand that that's not place happiness, especially in a world that everybody says, just be happy, just be. I'm not against being happy. I think we should be happy. But what kind of happy?
Right.
You know, let's be healthy and happy. Let's be conscious, wise, and happy.
Yeah,
let's sustain our happiness instead of let's just be happy today and we'll see what tomorrow may bring.
Right. Because that kind of works into everything else.
Yeah.
Like with money.
Yeah.
You know, with money, it's like, man, I just got paid. I'm finna, you know, just be out here spending your money because you just got paid, getting that instant gratification. We finna go out to eat. I'm finna go get my nails done. I'm finna go do this. I'm finna buy the new phone. That's like instant gratification, but it makes me happy. Why would God want to withhold happiness from me?
Right.
It's temporary. It's fleeting. It's like, then you're gonna have that monthly payment to make. It's so many other things you could have did with that. And I guess, you know, for me financially, I'm used to delayed gratification because I've had less before. I've been poor before. I've been scraping pennies. I've been trying to, you know, make ends meet at times. So I've had that. So I'm a person who's okay with delayed gratification. So, you know, not getting something right away, it's like, I know something better is coming up. Yeah. And it's just like, I always know it. So it's best for me to wait. So you can do delayed gratification and have happiness.
For sure.
You even more happy because of that. You can like, man, I'm so glad I waited. You know, definitely. It's just like somebody, like a lot of women who have been single for years and then they end up getting married. And like, y'all, it was worth the wait.
For sure.
Like, I mean, you don't hear as many men tell us, say that same thing. Right. But at the same time, it's like, man, it was worth the wait.
For sure.
It was definitely worth the wait. So it's really about that delayed gratification. And I think when you look at, you know, because that plays out not only in love, but like I said, in every area as it relates to finances and all of that. So the delayed gratification in me not going on a vacation since, like, realistically, it's been 6 months because I don't count Thanksgiving. Right. I don't count that. Right. Yeah, it's been like 6 months for vacation. Me delaying that gratification, trust me, it's going to be so worth it because vacation is coming.
For sure.
Vacation is upon us.
Yeah, and we're going to be healthy when we have a vacation. We're not going broke for it. We're not sacrificing a whole bunch of other stuff to have this vacation. And that's what it pertains to, is relationship stuff we're talking about. It's like, you know, sometimes if you realize that some of the things that we do in our relationship is instant gratification, it's not really about sustaining and having a healthy relationship. It's about what we're doing right now to make ourselves feel good. Yeah. You know, and then in the long run, those things may backfire. So as pertaining to what we're talking about, this happy and healthy, let's do that in our relationships. Let's do that. Sometimes we have to wait for certain things in our relationship because we're not healthy to enjoy the happiness. You know, sometimes it's like raising kids. You know, kids, no kid want vegetables and none of that. But because we know that a diet full of candy is not healthy, even though it's going to make that child super happy, it's going to have an adverse effect on that child's health. Same thing in our marriage. You know, doing a lot of stuff in the marriage when it first starts, or have things going on when you're not healthy enough to sustain it, it doesn't really work. Yeah. You know, so one of the things I want to mention about having a healthy relationship is starting with communication. Starting with healthy communication, even though those are not always pleasant and happy conversations, they're good because in the long run, they bring joy into your relationship. So sometimes we have to put health above happiness. But don't have a relationship where you're not happy. I'm not saying sacrifice happiness. I'm saying just don't look for instantaneous happiness. My wife make me happy. I thank God. But some of the healthy things that we have to do, I'm not happy about. But I know in the long run, those things are going to be more joyful and delightful because we did it. And one of the things that she's talking about is vacation. My wife loves to travel, loves to be going places and stuff like that. And that brings her happiness. But she looks out for me, just getting out of jail, trying to stabilize myself, trying to get some stability. She's willing to sacrifice some happiness of being in Milwaukee and being in the cold just so that our relationship and my stability, she's making a tremendous sacrifice because that's what it's about. But now that we're going to be able to go on a vacation, we both going to be happy and enjoy it and not thinking I'm going to come back like, oh, man. Now, you know what I mean? So we still going to be able to sustain a happy vacation. But when we come back, we still going to be happy. You're not going to be burdened with a bunch of bills and stuff like that. So that's what we mean about being healthy and happy in your relationship.
Just even, because I know like people do this a lot. And like my conscious commitment to myself is to not go on vacations when I have like any form of debts or anything that I have to pay. And I think that it's important for people, because I know people do that a lot, but I think that when like we're at a place where we are, like when you're building, you can't go on vacation in the middle of a building project. You know what I mean? You can't be out on leave in the middle of a building project. Especially when you're part of the team, you're part of the project management team, and all of that. So in the course of us like rebuilding our lives, it was best for us to, be still and be steady here. And that, it's been cold. It's been real cold.
Right.
6 months of cold. Wisconsin, cold. Okay. So that, like Sean said, it wasn't happy, but at the same time, it was healthy. It was mentally healthy. It was emotionally healthy. It was financially healthy. Helped us to accomplish some goals healthy. Help us to build healthy. Help us to connect more healthy. Just in so many ways that was healthy, that in the long term, and even not even long term, but we still I was still able to experience happiness and joy, in the midst of all of that. Even though when I look outside, I couldn't go outside. I couldn't go for as many walks because it was cold. But at the same time, we're looking at long-term happiness, and we're trying to build something here because we're newlyweds.
For sure. And our health builds happiness. The longest we are healthy, we can be happy. I've seen people in their lives that they're just not happy. It's because they're not healthy. There's so many things that connect it, whether it's a physical situation or appearance. They're not happy with their appearance because they're not healthy. So I really think that it's important in relationships and in life that we understand the place of both. You can definitely be happy and healthy, but sometimes happiness got to be delayed in order to be healthy. In relationships, Shanice was talking about, like, finances in relationships are very important. So if you get into a relationship and don't consider how finances are to be managed and how they to be, protected and stabilized, that we tend to put ourselves in debt. Because my wife loved this and I just got to get her this to make her happy. I don't care about the long-term effects that it's going to have on us financially. I want to have my wife and, if I got children, a house and a backyard, but I can't bankrupt that at the expense of our relationship.
Right.
You know, because what happens when you get this house and you get this backyard but your relationship suffer. Now somebody's living in the house by themselves. So let's build. I love what Shanice was saying. Let's build a healthy relationship that leads to prolonged happiness. And y'all know what y'all got. Every individual that we're talking to know what they need to do at this particular time to have that. It may be different. It may not be finances. It may not be vacations. It may be infidelity. Some guys think that, man, my wife will forgive me, and she might, but that's not healthy. That's not healthy. I don't care how much loving and forgiving she is, it's gonna be problematic.
Yeah.
You know, so let's not do that. Let's not go out and gamble our checks away because it makes us feel good. It's not healthy. Mm-hmm. So whatever the case may be, place health above happiness at times, but look for sustained happiness. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I've learned to do right now when it comes to building is let Shanice know what the future may look like, because that can bring happiness, but we building towards that. Mm-hmm. You know, so don't withhold a happy vision or happy thing. Like, you know what, once we get this situation, we can go anywhere you want to go. Mm-hmm. So she can know that happiness is coming and she can enjoy what we're doing because she see that it's not all about just, you know what I mean? I learned that with exercise. You know, I learned that with exercise. If you know that doing this is going to get me to, it gives you an ability to sustain that routine that you need to do. You know what I mean? So don't just say, oh, I just got to be healthy. Give a picture of what happiness will look like in the long term. And that can keep y'all moving forward. That can keep the relationship pleasant, you know, because nobody wants to grind and don't know where this is headed. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I love to Shanice do that for me as well, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know, but she make me realize that this is going somewhere. This is why we doing this. You know what I mean? So I love that, and I hope whatever we're saying can help you guys to realize that you can't have healthy and happy relationships, but sometimes we have to delay the happiness simply for a sustained happiness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's really good because, you know, just when you think about, you know, like work.
Yeah.
And, you know, just let me go back a little bit because I had two thoughts in mind. But, you know, when you think about, you know, just trying, let's see, this is March. So by now, people have usually quit their goals, like fitness goals. Right. Like February, March, people usually gave up on that.
For sure.
You know, it's like one cheat day turns into 7 days of cheating day. So, you know, when you think about that, and when you think about like every aspect of your life, it's like you have to keep the vision before you. Yeah. You know, what am I doing this for? Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing that just always, because, you know, this winter I mean, you made it easy for me, but at the same time, you know, it was kind of a down winter because I experienced winter here in the cold where I didn't want to be. But at the same time, I wanted to be here with my husband. I wanted to be here with Sean. So it was a constant vision. It's like, if you just do this, this is what, you know, it's like putting always having that end result in front of you.
For sure.
So, you know, I had to keep that vision right before me so that I didn't, you know, just get too down. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get so down that I didn't get sad, you know, have seasonal, I think it's called seasonal depression because of the winter. Yeah. And with it getting dark at 4:00 and stuff like that. So I had to keep that vision before me so I can, you know, stick to my goals. There were a lot of times that I did want to leave, but different things came up that prevented me, you know, even from going on a vacation, going on a trip, because I was in the middle of building. Yeah. So it was very important that I stayed focused on the building process until I felt a release to be able to go on a vacation without my husband. So
Right.
yeah, it's really important to have that vision before you. Why am I working on this? Is it worth it?
Right.
Is it worth it? Because if you don't see like that it's worth it, it's easy for you to just to quit and just to give up and just to say, forget it, I'll pick that up another time. So I encourage you, like, even if you don't had, whether it be financially or whether it be health wise, you can still start again. You can still recommit. You can still say, let me give this another shot. Let me give this another chance. I know we had this budget in place before,
right.
And we kind of got off the budget, but let's get back in place. It don't matter how many times you have to start over or redo or do it again. All that don't matter. Just don't give up.
Yeah.
Just don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how people win. If you look at successful people, there are many failures. Many failures.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at, just say, for example, football, basketball players, how many times they failed. And what made them great? They didn't quit. They didn't give up. So I just encourage you, like, don't quit. Don't give up. Even if you stopped, this is the sign you've been looking for.
Right.
Start again. Do it again. Right. Keep trying. Keep going. Keep the vision before you. And if you don't have a clear vision that you're really passionate about, you need to get that vision.
You need to create
and that's one thing that we do for each other. This is what we're working towards. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this. This is the only reason we're doing this. So that's really important.
Yeah. And we want a happiness that in the back of our mind, while we being fulfilled, we're not thinking about, okay, after this, what's going to be. You know what I mean? And that's the sustained happiness that we talking about. Any healthy relationship, because just say me and Shanice just take a trip somewhere, we take our savings and we just say we got enough to go on a trip. In the back of I don't know about her, but in the back of my mind, it's like, man, when we get back to Milwaukee, we're going to be broke. I don't know what we're going to do. So even while I'm enjoying that temporary happiness, I'm thinking about, man, my future is sacrificed, and that's how it is with whole infidelity or whatever. You're enjoying it, but still in the back of your mind, you be like, man, so are you really enjoying that?
Right.
Are you really enjoying this instant gratification, knowing that what it's going to cost you?
Yep.
So we trying to have a happiness that's so fulfilling and so true that while we enjoying what we doing, we know that we straight.
Yeah.
So we gonna be happy while we doing this, and we gonna get happy while we not doing this because we good. You good. That, to me, I call that's maturity. That's little kids don't think like this. Little kids think about, because little kids not thinking about tomorrow. Yep. They just like, man, let's do what we do. But we're not little kids anymore. We're grown people in a relationship, knowing that today is the best day, but if tomorrow come, it needs to be a good day too. Mm-hmm. So we're not sacrificing all our happiness in one day. And that's one of the things that I've learned that I want to do. I talk to Shanice about this all the time. I want to make her the happiest person in the world. Sometimes my life and my goal in life is just to make my wife happy, because when she's happy, I'm happy. But I know what that means. It doesn't mean to sacrifice. To give her everything she wants. It means to understand what's going to keep her happy, what's going to sustain that, and she understands. Shanice understands if I can't do this or if I can't go somewhere right away. She understands. She knows that means, okay, I may have to do this or I may have to wait. But in the long run, we're going to be able to do a lot of things together. And we're not going to have this in the back of our mind, like, okay, what do we have to give up to do this?
Yeah.
So that's what I encourage you everybody to do, is to make sure your happiness is not a fleeting thing, even if you made so many sacrifices that you go into poverty, you go into debt, whether it's relationally, mentally, emotionally, or financially, just to have this moment.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So if you don't, I'm going to share something that we've been working on. I know that, some of you may not know that Sean is a poet. And he does, not only is he a writer, but he an author. and we're working on getting him published. But at the same time, he does poetry and haikus. Can you kind of explain what haikus are?
Well, haikus are a Japanese form of writings. They usually talk about nature and capitalizing beauty in nature in 17 syllables. Not 17 words, 17 syllables, and trying to capitalize it in a poetry form, in this Japanese form of writing called haiku.
Cool. So, with that being said, I'm a photographer.
Yep. Shanice is a beautiful photographer, and she has an ability to make things, make you realize the world in which you live is beautiful. So I try to put words to her beauty, and we work that together so that you can see that, yeah, this is beautiful, and you have some words to go by to help you to paint that picture. Yeah.
So I did the photography, and Sean did the haikus and the affirmations. And what we came up with is Beautiful Affirmations. And you gave it that name, right?
Beautiful Affirmations.
Beautiful Affirmations. And these are keepsakes. So what we have is each one is a different picture. And again, this is my photography. So each one is a different picture. And then on the back of that picture is a haiku. And then the affirmation. I'll let you read this one.
All right. I read this one on the last show. So here's what it says. The hue of difference makes me uniquely me in living color. That's the haiku. And the affirmation that we can say to ourselves about this: the color of me is what brightens humanity. So that is something that we can have in our head and have in our mind as we telling ourselves who we are.
And here is another one. Since he read that one on the last show, we'll let him read a new one this time.
It's another one. Look at this picture. Isn't it beautiful? Shanice has an ability to capture the beauty in the world around us. So what I did to this one is put some words to it. You see my beauty because I have been transformed. Test of time revealed. And the affirmation part of it, the process of metamorphosis takes time. To reveal the beauty of things, I am a glorious being.
So can you see yourself like having these around your house? And this is quality cardstock. Can you see that? That's quality cardstock. This is not thin paper that you have on like same paper as Uno cards and I love other people's affirmation cards. I think those are beautiful, but this is not that, okay? So you have quality art on the front, and then you have quality art on the back in the form of poetry that comes from the mind of Sean. And these are called Beautiful Affirmations, and in a pack you get 13 of these in the pack. They come with envelopes too. You can mail one of them to a friend if you feel that resonates. You want to just be a blessing and encourage them. Send them a beautiful affirmation. And again, you get 13 of these. Can you just see these like sitting around your house and you just picking up one, looking in the mirror and reading this to yourself every day?
For sure.
Just something like that, just so beautiful and just so encouraging and reminding you of the beauty within you and the beauty that you bring to the world. So if you are interested in supporting us in any way, this will be a good way. While we are putting together our website, we are still able to get these mailed out to you. So if you want to, you can email Sean. We're going to put that information in the show notes. And on the subject of that email, say Beautiful Affirmation cards, and we will work out a method of, work out a way that you can send over a payment. We already have that set up, but again, we're working on a website. That can take some time, maybe a week or so. But you get 13 beautiful affirmations, and you get envelopes to go with these. So again, this is quality cardstock. This is about 4.5 by 5.5, almost the size of a postcard. And you see that beautiful artwork on the front. So again, we'll put that information in the show notes. We do thank you so much for joining us once again on A Second Chance at Love and Marriage. Until next time, you have something?
Yeah, before we go, and that's what me and Shanice want to do. We want to bring beauty in life into people's life, whether it's with these YouTube, whether it's with the affirmation. Let's get back to living. Let's get back to joy. Let's get back to loving the life we have with the people that is in our life. So I just wanted to say that before we end it, because it's not about trying to do this or do that. Life is to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
And sometimes you enjoy it by looking at the beauty around you, whether it's your relationship, the beautiful person you have in your life, or the world in which somebody try to create an ugly picture to, that you can say there is beauty in this world.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us. And again, till next time, we're out.